I wanted to hop on here real quick because I'm in my car to give you guys some real life example that happened to me a few days ago. And to remind you guys the power of when you trust the universe, the power of knowing that the universe is gonna take care of you, and the power of knowing that the universe is gonna give you an opportunity in real time to make the shift that you say you wanna make. It's gonna give you an opportunity in real time to show, are you really about that life? Are you really about these affirmations that you've been saying? And I'm gonna show you how in real time, I shifted identities in person. And so what happened was, a few days ago, my girlfriend and I, we had left a good friend of ours' house from having dinner. And when I got in the car and started the car, I noticed that my air pressure sign came on for my tire, for my right front tire. And so I got out and checked it and the tire was low. And so I went to my trunk and I put some air, I filled up my tire with air, and I went to go home. And so I woke up the next day and I was thinking to myself, man, I really hope that I don't have to get a new tire, or I really hope that it's not the rim, because obviously when your tire is losing air, it's obviously the rim or it is the tire. And so you're gonna have to get either one fixed or whatever. So I'm hoping like maybe it's just a plug, maybe I can plug the tire, because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not trying to spend no money. It doesn't matter how much money you guys have. You guys know this, that have cars or have houses or have anything. And no matter how much money you have, you think like, man, I don't want to go out and I don't want to spend this money on this and on that. Especially when you have a car like mine, because I have a Jaguar, and the original MSRP on my car was over 100 grand. I didn't pay 100 grand because I manifested this car. That was another story that I did on my channel. But the original MSRP on this car is over 100 grand. So that alone can tell you how much the repairs on this car probably cost. I mean, one tire, if I put Pirelli tires on this car, one Pirelli tire costs 400 bucks, right? And that's if I get the Pirellis. If I don't get the Pirellis and I get maybe the cheapest one, it'll cost me maybe around 200. I say all that to say, all right, so we left a friend's house. I woke up the next day and I'm like, all right, I gotta get this tire looked at. What's going on with this tire? So I checked it, when I put air in it, I woke up the next day and checked it before I went to go get it looked at to see if it had lost some air. And it did lose a little bit of air compared to what I put in it the night before. And so I went to go get it looked at. The guy has a young lady from the office come out and tell me, we don't have the tire, but you need a new tire, but we don't have any on stock. We don't have any used tires, because I wanted to get a used tire. He's like, we don't have any used tires. If you want a tire, I'm gonna have to order it and it could be here around 5 o'clock. And at this time it was like 3 something. So I was gonna have to wait probably about 2 hours or so, maybe a little less, in order for the tire to come. And they told me that the tire was gonna be $200. And so I thought to myself, man, in these moments, I initially thought to myself, yo, I don't wanna spend $200, even $200 on a new tire, especially considering not long ago, I had just put a new water pump in my car, which cost me over $1,000. So at that moment, the old barb kicked in, and I told the lady working in the office, she came out to me and she told me what the price is gonna be. And she's like, we can order it and have it by 5. And I told her no. I said, nah, that's okay. Because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna find somewhere cheaper where I can get a cheaper tire, because I'm not trying to spend at least a couple $100s on a tire. And then between the time that she walked away and walked back inside, and between me, as she walked away, walked back inside, I walked away from my car and I walked back towards my car, and about 20 seconds probably went by during this whole time frame. And when that happened, I was having an inner dialogue with myself, and I said, Marv, why not just buy the tire now? You have the $200, you can definitely pay for it. What's stopping you? It was literally like a 20-second conversation. And I was talking to myself like, what are you? You don't feel like waiting? And that was part of it. I really didn't feel like waiting. I didn't feel like waiting for the tire to deliver. I was like, man, I could be doing this with my time instead of waiting around for almost 2 hours for them to fix the car and do the tire. I could find a cheaper tire. I don't gotta spend that much money on a new tire or a newer tire. And I was just thinking of all these excuses, and I stopped myself and I was like, Marv, you're being the old man right now. How would the new Marv think if you had unlimited money? You know money's energy. You know money's gonna circulate and come back to you. So what are you waiting for? Just go for it. Just go ahead and buy the new tire, sit around and wait for an hour and a half or however long it is, and then this problem is gonna be out of the way. And in that moment, in that 20-second time frame, I was talking to myself, I changed my mind. And at that moment of me changing my mind, I realized is when I shifted realities. I shifted realities from being the old Marv to shifting reality to being the new Marv. So I went back to the guy and I said, you know what? I told the lady originally that I didn't want to do it today, that it was okay. But I went back to him and I said, you know what? I changed my mind. I said, you guys can go ahead and order the tire. and you guys can put it on. He said, okay, cool, you can come back around 5 o'clock. I didn't know how bad the air was leaking in my tire. So instead of leaving, I just said, no, that's okay, I'll stay around. And there's a car wash next to the place that I went. And I just sat and I chilled in the car wash for about an hour and a half or whatever it was until my tire came and they were ready to put it on. So I waited the car wash and I was just looking at videos and I was just doing things. And I was just talking to myself and I was like, you know what, Marv? I was like, this is where you shift realities. This is where, in these moments, this is the universe testing you. Are you gonna fold? Are you gonna be the old person? Are you gonna be negative? Are you gonna be worried about money? Are you gonna be worried about these problems? Are you gonna cave into the problems? Are the problems bigger than you? What excuse are you gonna make? Because I realize in this moment is when you have a chance, you have a choice to shift, or you have a chance to go back to being literally the old man. And in that moment, I said, no, I'm going to be the new Marv. I'm not gonna be the old man that would be worrying about, oh, I gotta pay more money. Oh, I gotta wait. I gotta do this. I don't wanna wait. I can find it cheaper if I just take the time to look. In that second, I shifted. That's how you shift realities. And what's even more crazier is once he finished and gave me my car back, I was driving home and I was thinking to myself, like, Marv, don't be worried about none of this stuff. Like, you're good. You got it. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be good. You know money's energy, you know it's gonna come right back to you like it always does. I was just reminding myself of all of these affirmations that I've constantly said to myself that are basically ingrained in me at this point. And the crazy thing is like within a day or two, I literally had manifested working with 2 new people in my coaching business. And so it's like, damn, the tire paid for itself. Like the money came in, the money went out, and then it came right back in. And so I'm saying that to remind you guys and for you guys to look at your own life and your own situation and ask yourself, what situation may you be going through right now to where the universe is trying to test you, but you keep being the old man? Maybe there's something that you're not paying for or you're afraid to pay for, or maybe there is something in another area of your life that you're not doing because you are acting and responding in the way of the old man, as Neville would say. This video today is to inspire you to be a new man, because just like in my situation, I was worried about, man, I just paid all this money to get my water pump fixed and all this other stuff. Man, I don't want to have to pay $200, $300, $400 for a new tire. And then at that moment, I realized this is the universe testing me. I have a choice to either still be the old Marv. And in that second, in that moment, I shifted. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and pay for this $200 because $200 is nothing to me. $300 is nothing to me. $400 is nothing to me. That's an affirmation, right? Unconsciously knowing, that's an affirmation. And so I went ahead and spent it. And then look, I spent it and then I got back double within a matter of a day or two. I forget when these people reached out to work with me one-on-one, but then I got back like double what I actually ended up paying for my tire. And it's like the universe rewards you. As you know, the universe rewards you for being bold enough to make that decision, to being bold enough to bet on, to having faith. What is this? What is that verse in the Bible? Faith without works is dead. You know what I mean? That's showing active faith. All of these things right here is showing active faith. And that's what I want you guys to do today. I want you guys to look at your lives and to ask yourself, where are you not showing active faith? Is there a situation or circumstance in your life right now that the universe is telling you to show active faith? Because if you say these affirmations and you claim to be X, Y, and Z, you better believe that the universe is going to test you in a sense so you can prove, are you really this new affirmation that you're saying? And I'm living proof. I didn't want to spend the money, but I did it. I went and acted on active faith, and the universe blessed me with at least double the amount that I actually ended up paying for my tire. So if I can do it, you can do it. So my thing to you is, what is your excuse? What is your excuse? I want everybody to get rid of all your excuses and to live by faith. And this is how you shift the reality. In that instant second, you shift reality when you make those split-second decisions where the universe is like, here's what you want, here's what you were. You gotta choose. You gotta choose.